Welcome in to the next episode of our Humankind Let's Play series, exclusive here on YouTube at the Manish Moose channel. Welcome in. We're going to jump into gameplay really quickly. This is part 6 of our playthrough. We are still in the ancient era. Lots of stuff to cover. I have some interesting things that I want to talk about today and hopefully start to move towards thinking about what are we going to do in the next era? Who are we going to move up to? And what sorts of things should we consider as we're trending in that direction? But as we launch into the game, if you haven't been able to catch up on the series so far, I will link to episode 1 here in the description down below. So if you want to catch up on the whole series, please feel free to do so. I do post these videos Sunday afternoons is when I release them, so you can always hit the subscribe button and look for them at that time. That said, I want to get as much gameplay in as possible this time, so let's jump into the game and pick up where we left off. Alright, the first thing that I want to do as we come in and we see Humankind pop up on the screen is I just want to take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this game. Oftentimes when I load into Humankind, especially if I do a little zoom in and get pretty close here, I just can't help but, it's so beautiful. The game is, Amplitude has done such a good job on the little details, right? We've got the bears running around over here, the water coming down and running in, the eagles flying overhead, we've got the people working in the fields down below, the ambient sounds, if you pay attention in the game, if you're over at the horses, you have the horse noises. It depends on where you are, the ambient noises all change. Let's jump into gameplay. Now, the first thing I actually want to talk about before we hit the next turn button is in the YouTube comment section, some interesting things were talked about. And one of those things is I was very excited at the beginning of this playthrough to play the Carollands. Why? Because the Carollands' unique district, their emblematic district, the Ceremonial Plaza, has the same effect as a hamlet in that you can build off of it, and it can be free placed as long as it's along coastal waters. Now, what happened since then is they've made it so that harbors can also be built off of. Now, it's not quite as powerful as a hamlet because, like, the Ceremonial Plaza exploits all of the different FIMs, right? Food, industry, money, and science. The harbor obviously only exploits the food in the coastal tiles around it, so that's a little bit different, but you still can build off of it. So now you have harbors that you can kind of basically have the same build situation as you would with the Ceremonial Plaza. I really think that the Carollands went from being like top tier, must pick, excellent level ancient era culture to like they're fine, but the Ceremonial Plazas are pretty much just good ways to get a couple of extra FIMs early in the game because the harbor kind of accomplishes many of the same things. So I'm still excited we're playing the Carollands. I do want to see how these Ceremonial Plazas kind of play out throughout the course of the game, but the fact that harbors can now be built off of kind of makes the Ceremonial Plaza slightly redundant. Again, you're going to get some good FIMS benefits. It's still a religious, it's also a religious district, so that ends up playing a role later on as you get your tenants in place and things like that. So you definitely, it's going to be beneficial, but not as beneficial as we might have otherwise thought before when I started this game and the change had not been yet made to harbors. So we'll see how that all plays out. If you recall where we're at, we are in the Free People's Mania on this continent. We have this Free People's. Sus has 2 population. They're just building. If you recall, we put some points in there, so we're generating some influence towards being able to assimilate them. We did the same thing here in Luluman. Actually, we need to save up some money to do this again, it looks like. We are getting +2 per turn for proximity, it looks like. But we need to push this a little bit too, because we want them to stop attacking us, right? That's the whole goal, is we need them to stop attacking us. And I think we did. We'll get +2, so we did put some points into this, I believe. This one is already generating at +2, and we've been putting points in for a while. We're also paying attention to this particular place, right? It looks like they only have 20 left. Somewhere in here we can see how many turns they have until they become a city. But I'll have to like take a look more closely. But apparently somewhere if you click on these, you can tell when they're going to become a city. I can't see what that might be right now. Unless it's 20, but that doesn't seem possible. So anyway, we're paying attention to this. If for some reason they become a city and they don't have any population in them, which they currently don't, right? They currently don't have any population, but they might by the time they become a city because they do have some food, right? Food. This is a really nice city settle. I think there's enough food around them that they might pop up with that population. And so getting a free city from the free peoples this time may not be possible for us, which is why we're gonna have to work on some assimilation. But that's fine. We really need to get these people to stop attacking us. And the last thing we did was we started to heavily forward settle the Egyptians. It was kind of a gut decision to do it just because we had some influence at the time and the territory looked nice and we had units there. If we can close this, grab all 3 of those, and then start working our way down this way and up this way, we can get our continent claimed pretty fast. So we're going to focus in pretty heavily on saving our influence for territory claims, which it's kind of expensive because we're claiming stuff that's way outside of our territory range. Like, we're not connected to our cities anymore, primarily because we were going to claim this so we could claim all of that, but this became a city. Optimally, what would have happened is this would not have gotten placed. We would have put a territory here, an outpost, attached it to this city, and then all of these would have been adjacent to this territory, which would have reduced the influence cost. That didn't happen, so we'll go with it, right? We'll roll with it. Remember, we are in an alliance with Icarus, and we have the Customs Union Treaty already. Once these are unlocked, we will progress towards getting probably the cultural agreement because we want to increase our influence generation right now. And we have a couple folks that we need to go meet over on this side. Once we can get in the water, we should be able to meet them pretty quickly. Let's end turn and we'll progress to the next little bit. All right, we've got religious conversion that is started. And wow, okay, so dang. All right, those guys are pursuing us all across the place. Like, look, I guess they're not too far away, but man, those aggressive free peoples are aggressive. Holy smokes. What do we got? 2 damaged warriors. Oh, and we can't retreat this time. Okay, so this was the fight that we almost took and then decided not to. Now we're being forced into the fight. I do not think this will end well for us, but let's manual battle what we're going to do. The other thing that was discussed in the comments on the YouTube videos, a couple of them ago, is that I probably, and I agree with this, I hold on to my scout units probably too long. I had a bunch of scouts that are all dead now because the aggressive free peoples have taken them out. They weren't really doing much of anything at that point. We'd already explored the whole continent. We can kind of, really, the scouts are going to die to anything. So really, going around with a group of scouts, I'm not sure how effective that is, because you can always just, they're gonna die if you get into a fight like this, primarily, right? And so you should just probably take those scouts and put them back into your cities, right? You can disband your units into your cities to increase the population, and that's probably something that we should have done. And in fact, if we get out of this fight, we might even start to do that with some of our bigger units, our bigger armies of scouts, is leave just 1 scout to go run around and claim territories and send the rest back to populate our cities out. That's something that I probably need to think about earlier in games, and something that was a good comment that was brought up in the YouTube comments. So I appreciate comments on the videos, because we're always learning with 4X games, right? Always learning. So all right, let's manual battle. Here we go. We don't want to be on river, that's for sure. Probably these high ground spots are good. They're not going to have an advantage, but we're not going to have an advantage either. And then if we're positioned in a triangle like this, we should be able to have the majority bonuses. So I think we just sit here. We're just going to defend against these attacks and hope that our bonuses are good enough to hold out. We probably want to do a switch, so we're going to bring these guys. Can we bring these guys down and around? We can bring these guys here and then back, but I want the bonuses still. I think they die if we don't move them, so let's go ahead and try to save them. I'm going to put them over here. We're going to move these guys. These guys are going to move up, and then we're going to try to... Oh, we can't get those guys over. Okay, that's fine. So we lose our bonus for the double stacked units, but that's okay. We'll see how this goes. They're attacking full health units into not full health, so that's probably helpful for us. All right, so now we have a scenario where these guys actually have more health, it looks like, than these guys. So we want to, if at all possible, move these guys back.
Off we go.
And we'll go ahead and stick these guys back in here. Get that bonus back. We hope at some point they attack this guy. I mean, maybe could these guys have switched? Maybe. I think they would have still tried to attack this guy. We probably could have done that though, is move this unit here. That probably would have been smart. All right, so we're down. We're actually going to win this fight, which is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and we'll move this guy over here now. And then we will end round. He's going to attack into it. Should be... Oh, well, we could just end the fight. We could just attack him, right? But we already ended turn. Okay, that's fine. I think we've got this fight. So it turns out, on even playing field, the 2 damaged warriors were not a match for our 3 full health scouts. Which is good. It's good to know that, right? That we could do that in the future. We could have probably managed that a little bit differently. Maybe saved our extra scout unit. It probably would have been debatable. Probably would have been debatable. Okay. We've got units that are on the move. And Icarus is proposing to share logistics. Yeah, that's fine. I accept. As long as you'll also do a cultural agreement.
We would all benefit from growing closer.
Excellent. We're going to increase our influence generation, +5 influence on Empire, or 5%. Great. 5% influence is excellent. And we already have the customs union. We probably need to save our money to put some more into assimilation. We already have bought the horses. We're not using copper currently, and silk is pretty expensive. And we don't have a lot of makers' quarters down. In fact, we don't even have the money for this right now. But we want to pay attention to that because it's going to help our stability. As well as that generation of industry, because it's the silk. Silk gives that bonus. All right, we put this down. This guy's ready to go. Uh-oh. That... Man, that's so problematic. Uluban, look, please. Come on. Stop attacking me. This is so ridiculous. These guys have units everywhere. All right, well, we were going to use that guy to put down this territory claim, but he's going to have to run away, so... All right, let's go grab this with those guys. We're just going to have to retreat. Yeah, 2 chariots that are... Even damaged chariots are going to... That's like a one-shot on a scout, so we're out of here. We have to retreat, even though we were about to claim that territory. Now Icarus is probably going to get a claim on there, because that's probably what he's looking to do there. Hopefully the aggressive Free Peoples here also puts pressure on Icarus's units on purple here, because otherwise we're going to be in a spot of trouble. All right, let's move on to our next turn. They're coming after us. That's unfortunate because those guys are now effectively dead. Oh, how close are we to this? We just don't have the money. Right now, our money generation is hampering us. It's been a thing. All right, we can open this battle. That actually resolved itself. They attacked into us, so we did in fact defeat them on that particular front, which is pretty nice. So we got a couple of unit kills, and we ended up with 2 units left, which is great. And there is a COD. A COD has come in, and at the same time they became a city, they gained population. So lo and behold, we have 3 Free People cities, 1, 2, and 3, cutting off our continent in half, and we will have to assimilate all of them by normal means, unless we decide to build an army and go attack them and crush them through military might, which is not particularly the way I like to do things, although it is a way to gain some extra stars, and so we could think about it. Particularly with Lulaban, if their units are all over the place, we might be able to sneak an army in. It's something to think about. It's going to cost a ton to assimilate all of these. And also, we just don't need that many cities. We do not need that many cities, is the problem. Like, one of these cities we need. The other ones are probably going to have to be absorbed or burnt down, which is unfortunate. But, like, Sus has the most population, and we're going to be able to assimilate them first. So my assumption is we take Sus, and these ones are going to probably have to go away, which probably means the military route is probably the better way to go. Man, okay, we'll have to think about that as we go. I don't usually play military this early, which is frustrating for me, but what are you gonna do? All right, I actually, man, I need this guy to actually reverse course. I need him to come try to make this claim, because my other units are gonna die, so we have to head in this direction again. Try to claim it before Icarus does to close that gap, and then these guys, because they have nothing really to do, can come and grab both of these curiosities over here. This is a fight that we are going to lose 100%. I wonder if we could just somehow retreat out of this. I don't think we can. The only way our battlefield is drawn up such that it's just going to be impossible. We're just going to have to sit right here and just defend. We're going to die. This is just how it's going to be. So we're just going to, obviously they'll have to attack across river, which is not advantageous, or up a hill. So we're going to do as much damage to them as we can. This unit just doesn't survive this. Even if we try to run them away, they have chariots. They're going to have too much movement. So basically this guy's toast. We'll make him attack at least across river. We've got they won't have the attacking bonus of the chariots this next round probably with the charge effect, but it doesn't particularly matter because he is outmatched to the nth degree. Now we do have some nicely damaged chariots now, so if we run into like a larger group of our scouts, they might now be able to die, but highly unfortunate. We're losing units left and right. We do have this group of 4 down here. What are these guys doing? I don't know what these guys were doing. They actually could probably take these chariots on, to be honest. These guys were going to go start claiming down here. If these guys take this and these guys go this way, we might even swing this group of 4 up and around. Could go. Yeah, up. We can't go upriver. It takes a long time, but we could swing this way with them. I don't know. Let's just keep them on their current path. And we'll see kind of what happens. I hate that came in with the population because we can't go snag it now. Oh well. All right.
Devotion and respect for authority.
Oh,
good.
Nice.
Just be careful of fanaticism.
We just became the first culture to build, the first player in the game to build a holy site.
They have a certain appeal, the
over here in Carroll.
Be careful that your people don't start liking the neighbors more than you.
We have met the Olmecs.
We've been going nowhere.
This is Priest Queen Plosif. Plosif offering right away, offering to trade luxury resources. I like this quite a bit. I will accept that. I would love to trade everything.
This proposition should be in all our best interest.
And I've met some other people, I think, as a result of my meeting the Olmecs. So that's great. So we're now at a trade everything, which is wonderful. And I would like to, if I can, immediately buy these horses, if they're not too expensive. 42 money. Perfect. Grab the horses. That's going to get us another +5 food,
so these
which
are
is
the chosen.
beautiful.
With luck, they'll prefer thinking and meditating to unleashing their chariots.
All right. So actually, I thought that was going to be Burley, but it is not. It is indeed 100 games, 100 days. Sarge is over here and is claiming some pretty extensive territory. Very interesting. So we can also introduce ourselves over there. We might as well do that.
From my people and from
Careful,
myself,
vindictive, Pathfinder, showboater with the fame gain multipliers. Okay. I'm not sure. They're hesitant, so I'm not sure about proposing an alliance right off the bat. So let's go ahead and do our treaties.
We would all
hopefully he'll trade everything at some point. That'd be really nice. We'll make sure we keep an eye on that. And then let's see what we've got here. We've got the access to ebony potentially. +3 industry per ebony on main plaza and on administrative center. That's pretty dang good. Papyrus is the science one, and salt is a food. +5 food per salt. I really like salt. I'm thinking these are going to be very expensive. Only 59. Okay, so salt we could definitely grab next turn. And 56. Oh, wow. Those are very cheap. I like that. We'll probably try to grab at least ebony and salt on this next go-round. And then hopefully at some point we could do that as well. So we've got some good relationships established, which I really like. And Plosif currently only has strategics, no luxury so far, which is a little bit painful because it means he'll trade with us, which is good, but we can't trade with him in order to gain those stability bonuses that the lovely luxury resources bring. But I like that we have now met all but 2 of the players in the game. That is good for us because it allows us to have more trade partners. All right, let's see where we're at. These guys are headed out. It looks like Icarus actually, I would assume that Icarus's army right here has actually taken out those free peoples. He's got double warriors. They're not damaged, though, so interesting that they would not be damaged if they did decide to take on that group. That army of the Free People's army may have retreated out. If we run into them, that would be highly unadvantageous. I think that this unit is going to go plop down an outpost before I can get there. I think they're headed to the outpost spot, which is probably right up in here or here. Probably right there is probably where they're headed. So it's highly unfortunate because we're going to be right on their heels. Oh, wait, go that way. Oh, could that put us in front? Oh, the absolute timing. Oh, we can't quite cut him off. Question, do we have enough to put... Hold on, let's step in. Do we have... Oh my gosh, we do. We have enough to put the outpost down. So here's where we have to make a decision. I'm relatively certain this unit is going to put a claim down on this territory, probably this next turn. We can put our outpost in right now, but we won't get it to the optimal location. But you can use influence later on, like even just after the outpost is built, you could use influence to move the outpost to the opportune spot. And so I think it is probably worth it to put this right here. We'll get it close and on kind of a nice spot. In fact, it's almost just as good. Right here is really where we want it, probably. Right there is probably where we eventually would like to move it to, so we have to move it one spot. But for now, we might even just leave it here. This has got some nice spots on it. This is definitely the better place, but we're just gonna put this down. I think we have to do it. How fortuitous that this curiosity gave us a warrior unit that could then continue on and get a decent settle spot there. Dang, that, hey, sometimes things just go right. I like it. Great. We now have claims on these territories, effectively chopping the territory of the Egyptians down to just like the, 2 that they have claimed. It's gonna get a little tight for the Egyptians over there. We'll have to keep claiming because his units will start to stretch out and look for territory to claim elsewhere. So if you pull this strat and forward settle someone really hard, beware that if you have the open borders with them, or if they already have units that are past you, and we have an alliance with them right now, which is why we're able to do this and not fear military repercussions. If you do this, they will push past and try to put settles down on some of these other places. So it's not, they won't just sit there. They will push past those borders and make claims. So we have to fill in the gaps basically and continue to make claims ourselves. We're progressing nicely here in Sus towards our assimilation, and after the next turn, this free peoples, the Lulaban peoples who are aggressive, will no longer attack us. We only have one more turn, right? Once we get into this bar set right here, that means that they will not be hostile to us anymore. Basically, they just won't attack us. So that is where we're progressing towards. We've been needing that for quite some time. And I'm going to save the gold. I would love to start, hitting up a COD here also for assimilation. But we're actually getting +3 with them just without even doing anything, which is pretty nice, which means our proximity, like this proximity is doing something for us here. And so I think we're just going to let that sit for now. We also need to keep our influence, thinking about keeping our influence saved up for this. We're not going to put this in right now because the ebony, oh wait, this is ebony. Why is it? Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. This is ebony. That would actually be really handy. Do we need to make a claim immediately? We could put the ebony in. That might be very valuable to us. Yeah, that's a good production bonus. I'm gonna burn... Which one is this again? Let's check this one. +1 industry per worker, also a good one. But that one we can't buy in with influence. We have to build that one in. I like the idea... Let me check our stability in both of our cities. 100 and 100. So we actually don't need it for stability purposes, but the sheer industry bonus that we get out of this, I think might be worth it to grab this right now. We're going to grab the ebony. It's going to get us a builder star as well. And that's going to increase our production, which I'm excited about. Okay. This unit is no longer needed to go check this out because it's a city. So we can probably... So this group, we've got one here, one here. They're probably going to be safe. I don't think they're going to die because we're going to have no attacks from them soon. And we have one here and a group of 4. I think this group can probably just disband into our cities. I think we might just take these units We have to heal them up. They have to be full health before we can put them back into our city. But let's see. This city is 7 of 16, so we could split them, like put one here. I actually kind of like the idea of putting them both into this city because we currently only have one person here. But here's the problem is we only have 11 food. So we need to increase our food here before we do something like this. But what we're going to do is we're just going to put them... Actually, they can't. It takes them forever to get to the city. So they can go into the city from right here. So what we're going to do is just have them grab this probably, and then come back down, heal up, and we'll probably put them into this city. Now, this city needs some food. I also really like the idea of this, but we're going to have to wait on it. We're going to have to wait on it for now. We don't have a stability problem. You can see it's starting to trend downwards, and we're going to want to make an attachment relatively soon for this city, because the first attachment is something I like to do pretty early. I think at plus 15 food, yeah, at plus 15 food, the Animal Barns is going to be our best choice for our next building. So let's go ahead and do that. 14 turns is a lot, and so hopefully as we're rolling, we're population growth in 1 turn, and we can bump that up, and then we'll come back with these guys after they've grabbed this and pump that population up again, and we'll start getting people into the industry so that gets built faster. I probably should have split that group and sent the guy that had fuller health here to get back into the city sooner, but short hindsight. All right. We have, again, 16 food here is pretty good. We're growing in 1 turn. That's going to drop, and so we might want to think about how we're going to get more food in this particular place. We do get plus 8 from a granary or plus 22 from flood irrigation. That's a big number. We also need to start thinking about moving up, and so let's take a quick look at our star situation. We need to build more things before we move up. And we need to grab a few of these aesthete stars. We need to grab some of these agrarian stars. So we're not actually, in my opinion, we're not actually close to moving up. Yes, we could move up soon, but I want to collect quite a few more stars before I do that. So I don't think I'm not necessarily needing to push towards my emblematics, because we have to build our emblematics. You have to put at least 1 turn of build time into an emblematic district before you move up in order to be able to continue building that emblematic district in the next era. So it either has to be built, or you have to have a full turn's worth of builds into it and then don't remove it from your queue, and then you can still build it in the next era. So I'm not particularly keen on pushing towards these right now unless it would be, you know, the most beneficial for us. I just don't think that's the case. We're not going to get like 9 food is going to be like our best probably bet here. Yeah, or like industry if we put it up there. So that is not what we want to do right now. We actually want to get our 22 food in to increase our growth as quickly as possible, which will in turn increase our industry and different things. So we're going to put flood irrigation in, plus 22 food, because of all the rivers that are around each of our places, right? Strategically claiming the outposts and our city settle on the rivers is what's resulting in that plus 22 food for flood irrigation. Okay. All right, religion is progressing, although we're going to want to... Well, we have the first holy site down, so I think that we're good. Okay, resources are being bought, and we now have access to harbors, which is good. We should be able to... What does that mean? Can't we put people in the water? We could buy... No, we need sailing. Sailing for the Pentaconter. I'd love to snag a Pentaconter. We do have to pick a new research. I wonder if we go sailing really quick here and then double back to some of these really cheap ones. We're not going to be at war anytime soon. The Free Peoples can't fight us anymore. Otherwise, we'd want to progress down this way. I think we actually jump into sailing so that we can get a Pentaconter, and then we'll come back through and do some of the other ones. Yeah. I'm going to jump to sailing. That's going to be our next bet. Then we're going to get on the water, start to be able to meet more people and get more trade routes out. Okay, we do have some gold, and as I recall, Sarge had some stuff that I wanted to buy. Let's grab this ebony for 56. That is absolutely cheap. I'll take it. And we'll grab the salt. Oh, we probably should have grabbed the salt first. That's okay. We'll take the production. We got food. We got food right now. Production's going to be good. We'll grab the salt next time. All right, here is that nasty Free Peoples. They can't attack us anymore, right? Oops, wait. Yeah, they can no longer attack us. In fact, we're gaining +5 a turn with them, but man, it would nice to... What are we at on militarist stars? We have to get 4 more kills in order to get even 1 military star. I don't think we're going to find those unless we really start churning out units and going to war, which, again, some people would say would definitely be the move here, just to clear out some of those camps. And honestly, I'm half tempted. My problem right now is if we start to churn units out, we just don't have the population to do that right now. We only have 8 population in Carroll, and they're kind of barely trucking along as far as like growth is concerned. Like we want our capital city to have high population. If we were trending above like a 10 population capital right now, I think I would debate putting in some time to some armies. But the problem with armies is that not only is it going to cost us production, but it's also going to cost us population in these cities. Now, yes, we could just immediately take those population and put them back into the city. So that it's something to think about. I'm going to continue to debate that. I don't think we're going to do it this particular episode, but maybe next episode I'll put some thought into, do we want to put together a little warring party to take on maybe a couple of these free people cities? Because again, we don't need them, so we might want to just get some military stars out of that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because what we could even do is we could build a military and just repopulate our cities with our scout units and kind of just be trading out scouts for warriors or scouts for archers, and that might actually be the way to do it. I actually like that idea quite a bit now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. All right, let's go grab this. Perfect. 40 influence and 15 science. Those are so valuable. Oh my gosh. Okay. We need to go claim this territory. So we're going to send this guy back into this territory. Probably... Where are we putting it? Right here? Oh, probably over here somewhere. Ooh, probably right here, to be honest. Let's jump into territory. We don't have the influence to do it. Next turn, we can put it in, though. We'll see where that's going to go. Probably it's going to be over here, right on that spot. That's going to be a nice balanced spot right there for this territory claim on the river. Yeah. Okay, these guys also can make a claim. Again, we're spending so much on these because they're not adjacent to our cities. This particular territory is not super sexy. There is not a lot of great land in this particular territory, but we're going to want to put a claim in on it. We might even be claiming something over here so that we're at least close to this river. There's kind of a balance of tiles. These are sterile terrain, so we don't want to put anything on there. Look, a giraffe. And so, yeah, I think probably we're going to end up... Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up here, back up here for our territory claim. Let's move them back in that direction. Oh, in fact, we can actually put this one in. Why is this one so cheap? Because it's adjacent to our existing territory? 110. That other one up there is more expensive. Probably because it's further away. The 8.5 is, like, that's not great, but 8.5 or 7.6 is probably the way to go here. I just don't think we're going to find anything else that's, like, even moderately good in this territory. Yeah, like a 8.48 or like a 4.7. It's just there's no food anywhere here. But there's also no production. It's just a really... This is what you would call a garbage territory. There's just not much here. There's some forest over here that could eventually become useful. But we've got forest on these couple of tiles as well. So I think this 7.6 or the 8.5 settle. We could put like a harbor here. If we put it here, we could put like a market quarter here maybe, and then like a harbor in somewhere in this vicinity. So I think I'm going to go with the 7.6 spot when it comes down to it, probably. So we'll see. And then we got to figure out, probably we want to claim this one before this one, just because of its proximity to Icarus, but we'll find out. We will see soon enough, I think. This guy grabbed that. This guy did that. So we can now... This guy's going to take care of these claims here. So this guy is becoming quickly obsolete. So we may want to run him down here as kind of an extra person to be able to claim some of this stuff. I think that's probably what we'll do. And then we'll probably end up putting him back into a city. So let's just get him into this territory. We'll just send him. And we'll keep an eye out. I don't think we'll see any curiosities on the way, but we'll kind of see what's going on. This guy's in the same boat, so this is a warrior unit, though, so we actually could start... Oh, man, actually, I wonder if this warrior could take out these chariots. They're pretty damaged, these two chariots, remember? They're pretty damaged. If we could get a first attack on them, I wonder... Let's move them into kind of position to try that. They're pretty dang damaged. we might be able to swing in a quick victory over that before they get healed up. It's a thought. It's a thought. All right. The struggle for dominion. The capital is the empire's true seat of power, but now other cities with energetic populaces rise to prominence. Their leaders and other influential figures want sway over the empire's affairs. The question of who wields power must be answered. All right, new civic, and we now have another kind of choice to make. We have +1 to city cap, which is always nice because it eliminates some of the need for those penalties to influence if you're over city cap, and it also moves us on the axis, on this order axis towards liberty, which gets us more influence per turn as well, which is pretty good. So it's kind of a good, you're paying influence to get more influence. You can also go autarch and get plus stability on capital. We already know that we don't need that. So here's the thing. We actually currently have 2 of 2 cities. So we do not need the city cap currently. So we're going to pass on that civic for now, but we are going to remember that that civic is available to us because that's going to become an important one to claim. As soon as we get our 3rd city, we're going to definitely want to get that enacted to take care of the penalty to influence that you get when you go over your city cap. So that, if you didn't know, that's what happens when you go over your city cap. You get a penalty to your influence generation, and going 1 city over is perfectly fine. Almost always be 1 city over, and that's totally cool. If you go 2 cities over, the penalty increases exponentially the more cities you are in the red. And so if you go 2 cities over, you're going to start to notice, especially early game, that's pretty detrimental. And if you go 3 cities over, oh, like, it's basically you're going to stop generating influence, and you might even start generating negative influence because the penalties get pretty hefty as you go over that city cap. So that's why the plus city cap, like, researches plus city cap civics become important. Okay. Play our next turn. We're getting culturally converted, which makes sense. We got our first, the Steet Star, which is good. We want to keep trending in that direction. And people are trading and bartering like mad. Let's go and
So tell me,
take
how
our
are you
money
today?
and put it into this salt. Gonna cost 59 money is so cheap. Papyrus actually gets us a nice, I wonder if this is also cheap. Yeah, 56. We'll buy this when we can too. Those are some good resources that Sarge has access to. I really like that. All right. I am thinking, so these guys are gonna go back into this territory, probably start to disband. We need to heal them up. This guy probably is going to take 1 turn, so we're just going to press the regroup button. That will heal them. Once they are healed, we'll start disbanding them away. And we actually want to use... Let's see, where did Icarus's guys go? Okay, so they're headed this way, so we're actually going to get this claim in first. It's a better land. It's a better land anyway, so I think that is the plan. We claim this territory first. And just as I suspected, so we could claim... Ooh, that's pretty nice. 13-9, right on the cusp of the river with multiple exit points. 10-10 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4 river surrounds, but this one has 4 river surrounds as well, and good places to branch from. That's definitely the spot. I think this is the spot right here. Obviously, 19 food is really nice. That gets us 4 river tiles and good exit points as well. So 19-6... Ugh, 19-6 is really nice as well. And it gets us access. We could then build a Maker's Quarter here to get some decent production. Okay, let me give it a quick thought. Do I need more food or do I need more production? We're not going to connect this territory for a while. So the food actually makes more sense. And 19-6 is a higher total number, and we can always put... We can always stick like one of our emblematic districts here, or our hamlet or something over there next time. I think I like the 19-6 for now. I'm gonna go over here. I convinced myself away from the really sexy looking triangle over here. That's fine. Okay. Let's keep things rolling. These guys will be able to put in next turn. I think they're going to be putting in right here, so we're just going to send them there. And these guys are probably going to go disband. Oh, yeah, they were going to think about challenging... Yeah, they're kind of running away. I want to just keep these guys following this unit. I'm interested in if that fight would work. The problem is they're going to run into, like, reinforcements here near their city, so we might not be able to try for it. I do think that we probably are going to produce some sort of small army of, like, warriors and archers, and maybe try, like, a siege on, like, Lulaban or Akkad next time, just to get some war in there. I think that's probably one of our plays. Land of the Dead. For hundreds of years, the dead of Corral have laid to rest in burial sites within or close to the city's borders. Now, however, with a fast-rising population and many dying every moon, these sites are becoming overcrowded. Future burials could lead to disease as corpses await processing. Cremation might be a wiser choice. What is your decree? I love these kind of things in Humankind. I just find these so fun. We can continue to bury them. We could be traditional, right? Moving us towards that tradition axis, which is not exactly where we want to go, but does get us plus 10 industry, but minus 8 stability. Or we could cremate, which moves us on the other direction, which is the way we want to go towards progress on the social axis. Soldiers will need to ensure obedience, but all will be cremated to ensure healthy citizens. That gets us plus 10 food, but we're going to have more cost to land and naval units, which is kind of unfortunate because we just specifically talked about building a small army, but we're going to take cremate anyway. So for the next 10 turns, we're going to have some punishment towards building an army. But again, I want to move towards progress. Yeah. We now have the stars to be able to move up, but we are not going to move up right now. And the reason for that is the fame that is available to us in this particular era is only available to us in this era. So these stars that are worth increasing amounts of fame, you really want to get to that 3rd tier star if at all possible, right? So for our expansionist, we've already got all 3. We've collected a lot of our fame through that. We only have 1 star in quite a few other things, which means we want to progress up towards that 3rd star. I typically will say, and I'm pretty sure this is what it is, like 4 third stars, right? So you want to pick 4 of these things to get 3 stars in the era before you think about moving up. And you want to have a couple stars in some of the other ones as well. I almost always key off of this one because if you're playing a science civ, science culture, this doesn't necessarily work because you're going to get those much more quickly typically because your science is going to be very high. But once I get the 3rd science star, that is oftentimes my indicator for moving up. So we can see we're a little bit away from that still, but I think that we'll be able to progress there pretty quickly as we move through these next few turns. Let's try to get one more turn in this particular episode. I think we can turn through one more turn.
Water itself in order to feed your people. That should make you popular.
Yes, we've got our flood irrigation in. Icarus would like a scientific agreement. Boom, perfect. We now have a full alliance with Icarus, and we can start trading more if we want to as well. Salt would be nice. How much do these? 48 gold. Yeah, we're very poor. We're very poor. That's the one thing we're not doing a very good job on is money production right now, but we're just not focused on it. So we got this guy. He just put into territory. We're gonna send him this way. We'll get him into this other territory, probably have him collect this. In fact, I probably will just dictate to him, because we're not going to have the influence to claim that territory right away. So we'll probably just have him go straight to that little curiosity over there. These guys are waiting until we have enough to put this one in. Again, we want to claim everything that's close to the Egyptians' territory, because they're going to start trying to branch out. So we're going to claim our way down and try to put in as much of those as possible. We also want to be starting to buy in our harbors. We also can do that. We're going to wait because I'm trying to claim some more territory, but we want to start saving influence to be able to put in our harbors. We also have the ability to put in another city for really cheap right now, which is something we might want to do before we assimilate our free peoples. Something to think about. But we want to buy in our harbors before we connect these territories, if at all possible. So we'll start trying to save for that as well. All right, here's our warrior. Oh, looks like, Icarus did the deed. The Egyptians took out those damaged units. Very fascinating. So we will not get the ability to do that. This warrior unit can go check out what this city looks like to see what kind of army we're going to need to try to take it. So the chariots are gone. The 2 chariots are gone. Icarus's warriors nearly died doing it, so it's a good thing we didn't attack with our 1 warrior because that did not go super well for the Egyptians there. These guys are going to hold. And Carol has completed, and now you'll notice our food has spiked and we're growing rapidly in the city of Carol. They have completed their flood irrigation. All right, let's check this first. The growing faithful. The Empire's religion grows, more and more followers coming into the faith every day. Some practice their beliefs through ceremonies led by priests, while others guide their own worship. It is time to give blessing to one of these means. So we have access to a new civic. So we're going to check this out. We can do communal rights, which unlocks procession, which is something that will get you stability. You can run these projects to get stability in your cities, which is pretty nice. So it's like faith-based stability. Or we can get personal rights. which progresses us towards having more money, which actually kind of would be nice at this point, because we kind of need more money. But also, this is a big thing. Minus 30% on religious district industry cost. Now, there are a lot of religious districts now. Ever since the changes that were put into place, there are more religious districts. So our ceremonial plaza, our emblematic district, is a religious district. And there are a lot of wonders that are also count as religious districts. And so this can get you minus 30% on even building wonders, which can be incredibly powerful. Now, we are currently trying to save our influence. I'm almost tempted to do this because we're about to start trying to build some of our ceremonial plazas in. I'm going to hold for now, but I need to remember, and this is the key with civics, is go back and check them frequently, because if you have something like this and you start to build something that you're like, oh, I'll put that in later, you got to remember, you actually got to put it in. So we're not going to do it now, but we definitely want to put that in before we start cranking on our emblematic districts. That being said, it would be really funny if I now chose to build my ceremonial plaza, because we actually would then want to stop and actually enact that. So let's see what we're gonna do. We can get plus 8 more food, or we can get plus 9 industry. We can also get stability, which we don't need, or we can increase our science. I think before we start building our ceremonial plaza, I almost want to see where we would put our harbor. Where does the harbor go for this city? Over here? And then we could put, probably what we would do is put our ceremonial plaza somewhere over here to kind of like combat the distance, so we could build in 2 different locations. So I like that. So that might be the plan, is harbor here, ceremonial plaza out here off of the coastal water, to take advantage of all those tiles there, give us kind of a split build capability on this particular spot. I like that. So I think now that I know that that's going to happen, I want to increase our industry here. I think I'm going to put in the lumberyard for that plus 9 industry. And then after the lumberyard is in, we will start construction on our ceremonial plazas and probably start working into some harbors and things like that. But I think the city could use a little extra production boost before we start building those things. That will do it for today. We're approaching past the time I like to keep these episodes down to. So I think we made some good progress. I think we're starting to pick up speed. I hope I get through more turns as we continue through. I think we're starting to hit the point of the game where we can start flowing a little bit more. We're kind of covered a lot of the big picture topics that you have to talk about. The ancient era is chocked full of big decisions you have to make. And so we're going to start talking more and more about land claim. Obviously has been our focus, but we're going to start talking more and more about when to put in cities and also when to move up, because that is the big thing we have to start thinking about. We have the ability to move up. When do we do that? And so that'll become kind of the big topic as we churn through turns here in the ancient era moving forward. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning into the video. I appreciate that you watch these. If you liked the content, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Leave comments in the comment section. It's been great because you can learn more about the game. I learn more from you all if you leave comments and kind of talk about strategies that you execute. That's the beauty of 4X games. They're always a little different. People play them differently. I'm excited to continue the series. I appreciate that you're kind of like, my pace is very slow, and it's intentional because I want to explain things and talk through it. If you catch me over at twitch.tv/MadishMoose, you'll know I play slowly just because that's apparently who I am. So I appreciate that you tune in for the videos. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so. I post videos, the Humankind series videos, every Sunday afternoon. If you hit that notification button, it'll let you know when I post. I do post occasionally at other times, some other content as well, so you can check that out if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you next week.